Hello. You probably did not expect me to do 2 walks in a row. I didn't expect to do one either. But I needed some walking, thinking time. And I also kind of wanted to just talk about some stuff. And yeah, just kind of work through it. And I kind of wanted to work through it with you guys seeing it. Because, you know, I'm trying to showcase with a lot of this stuff that I film. Sorry, I just had something in my eye. I'm trying to showcase I don't know what the proper term is here, but it's like, I want to give you guys a glimpse into the thought process of kind of how I process things, so that you know, maybe it can help when it comes to you analyzing or maybe not analyzing something. My hope is that you can look back on a lot of these videos and see how in real time I do work through the problem and try and kind of look at it from different angles, different perspectives, and all of that stuff in order to come up with an outcome. And, you know, I'm never really married to any specific position. I'm always willing to be like proven wrong or for new information to show up. And sometimes that does get me into trouble, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Also, it's like 7 p.m. or something, 7:15 or whatever. And I didn't bring a water bottle, and I didn't plan this very well. I just kind of came out, and you know, just to be clear, nothing like bad happened. But yeah, so I guess first and foremost, I want to kind of get the for lack of a better term, here, what am I gonna do here? Guess I will. I'm not gonna walk too long on this. Probably like half hour each way. But yeah, anyway. So I guess I want to talk about the things I really did good today. So I cleared out I went through all my boxes again. Aside from, there was like one box I'm pretty sure I'm like, that's the final box. And I got my wires down to one small tiny box. It's like, I don't know, like a foot long and like 6 inches wide. That's how big the box is for wires. And I think that's a good place to keep it. I also was able to fit in my tech box pretty much every piece of tech that I'm not actively using, which is huge. So it really truly is a tech box at this point. So I'm really happy about that. And I've been throwing away stuff. I've been like figuring out where things go. And I'm really getting down to the wire here. There isn't too much left to really think about. Maybe I'll do a quick like room tour of what it looks like now. But yeah. So I've been doing that most of the day. I came back. So at one point, I was like, I should... Oh, hey, it's okay, little guy. You're fine. Okay, at one point, I was going to order DoorDash. And I was like, I don't want to make food right now. I just want to lay in bed. I'm very tired. You know, kind of, this is just kind of how I feel the day after I do a big walk. And oh my God, I also just realized I put the wrong shoes on. I'm not even using the correct socks. Oh my gosh. I did not think when I went out here. But yeah, so like that was initially what was going to happen. And then I'm like, no, fuck that. I am not going to... I looked at the total, and it was like $68 for an order that was like a $25 order. And I'm like, no, there's no way I'm paying 3 meals to get a meal delivered to me. Like, I just refuse to do that. It seems like every time I check to see what DoorDash looks like, it's more and more expensive every time. It's like the fees and the delivery stuff before giving a tip is like $40. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane. So yeah, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna do DoorDash. Or if I do, it's like, no, I just, fuck DoorDash. Like, holy shit. It is so expensive now. But anyway, so I decided not to do that. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to get food, just go to the place and get food. So I went to the place that I get this garlic tofu that I really like. And I had vegetables, garlic tofu, and then I had a little side of prawns. And the lady was there that I had chatted with a few times, and she was like struggling. And you know, I was really worried about her, and I just wanted to check in. I'm glad I finally got to see her. Turns out she works at a different restaurant as well. So she's doing 2 jobs. And yeah, so I'm really glad that she was able to, she's feeling better. Time's kind of helping and all of that stuff. So yeah, really happy about that. So I get my food, come back, and I start sorting through my hard drives and then the wires and all the other boxes, and you know, really digging into it. Now I have 2, maybe 3 boxes worth of stuff to get rid of. I'm just like, no, I can always, if I ever want these again, I can just buy them again. That's like, I don't need these things. So yeah, I feel really proud of myself for that. I'm like super proud of the tech box. It like fits everything perfectly. So I'm really glad about that. I get a text, and this is where kind of some stuff starts coming up for me, where I've been thinking about, like, I'm like, like, again, it's roommate stuff. And I'm just kind of like, okay, so the person who was gonna look at the room on Monday was like, hey, I'm gonna check out the room today at around 6 p.m. And I'm glad that my roommate texts me. Way better communication. Roommate texts me and says, hey, they're going to be here at 6. And I had kind of known about this already, so I wasn't too, like, annoyed about it. But there's kind of this trend of kind of unilateral decision making, as if I don't exist there, and then I just kind of get appraised of the situation. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I understand why it's happening, but it doesn't make it any better. It's okay, little guy. Because, I don't know, it's like, okay, I'll lay out the roommate stuff in a second. I want to finish this up. So, the person comes in, looks at the room, looks at the house, and then is kind of like, cool, okay. They seem to like it or something or whatever, and then I hear my roommate at the end, because I come down and they're like, yeah, so we really like her. She seems great. Everything's gonna be great. So I think she's probably gonna be coming in. We're gonna have to figure out a few things. And then she starts listing off things that are like clearly not gonna work. Like, the fact that the person has a cat and it was strictly a no pet policy, but they kind of allowed the guinea pigs in because they're like, well, it's guinea pigs. Or the fact that, like, there's just like a few things that just kind of popped up, and I'm like, okay, have you thought this through? Because, like, to me, the only reason why this matters is that I need to tell my friend he's not getting the place if they're genuinely not wanting him to be a part of the stuff. And what it feels like is happening is they're using him as a backup. And basically, if they don't find anything better, they'll settle with him. Which is, I guess that's fine. Like, that makes sense. But I don't know. It's like, it rubs me the wrong way. And it especially rubs me the wrong way because there's this weird sneaking around where it's like, in the past, if we had been talking or doing stuff or whatever, they wouldn't, like, they would talk about whatever in front of me, and it wouldn't be a big deal. We're all just friends hanging out, and we're chatting, and that's that. But there's this shift that has happened where, because I've been kind of excluded from this group, suddenly it's like, now we got to sneak around and talk out of earshot of Tom in order to figure stuff out. So they're like going outside, they're like walking around the block, like I'm like some like evil entity that's like trying to fuck over their thing. And I'm like, I do not like this like behavior that I'm seeing. And part of me is like, am I overreacting? Because it bothers me at how drastic the change is, where just like all of these little things, and I feel crazy for mentioning them because realistically they aren't big deals, but it's just a total shift in vibe that has just really kind of like cemented it. It's like if I was questioning whether or not I should leave, which I wasn't, but if I was questioning it, this cements it so deeply for me because it's clear that they care about me, but they care about me within a very certain context. And when I'm not a part of that context, their care evaporates like the wind. You know, like for an example, I was talking about how like, hey, you know, I don't know necessarily if I want to pay for, you know, if I can pause my my insurance on my car. I don't want to pay for 4 months of insurance. Like, that seems a little stupid. So if I do that, like, I don't necessarily know if I want you guys driving the car because I won't have insurance on the car. And then immediately it was like panic. And it was like, oh, wait. Maybe we can pay for the stuff. Maybe we can pay for the insurance or whatever. And I'm like, why are you so focused on using my car like while I'm gone? I don't know. It's like, you know, time and time again, the roommates kind of are showing sides of themselves that kind of suck, that like they just didn't really show when we were part of the group together. And I'm like, so what? Are you like, oh, well, now that he's leaving, we can like let these other parts of ourselves out into the open? I'm like, bro, I've been myself the whole time. And so it's like, yeah, it's like, I shouldn't be surprised, but also it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. It hurts more than I initially thought it would. Because I kind of, in a way, I kind of knew that this would be a major kind of turning point in what kind of friend are they going to be when I no longer am like useful to them. Because, you know, I like half of the things that are in that house I've bought to kind of make the house better. And I'm not the type of person that wants to like wave that stuff in other people's faces. And I'm not going to do that now. Like, it doesn't matter how they treat me or the different ways that they interact with me. My stance has always been, if I bought it for the house or if I'm giving it to them, that's not changing because they suddenly acted in a different way. Because I genuinely feel that I've benefited a lot from living with them, interacting with them. They've really helped me grow, and they've given me a safe place to be able to grow. And for that, I'm very grateful. And this is kind of my way of giving back to them is, okay, you know, the second fridge, the couch, the this, the that. Like, I could go and sell these things, or I could just give it to them. Because it's like, like, the extra little bit of money is, like, not worth. And, you know, I'll just say, I don't have a ton of money. So, like, it would make a difference. But just doesn't feel right. Internally, it just doesn't feel right. And so that's why I'm like, nope, I'm giving them the stuff, and that's that. And, you know, just as they had talked about how back when I did this for that one coach, where I just, the money that I gave the coach for that couple month, or the 6 month like transformation stuff, you know, I could have asked for it back. I could have asked for some of it back, but no, I felt like I had gotten what I needed out of it, and I felt like there was a message and a lesson that that person also needed to learn from that experience. And I don't know, it's like, this is a similar scenario. And so for me, it means a lot for me to be able to kind of close out this chapter on a positive note. And what I mean by that is not worrying about all of the random BS that I've kind of donated to the house over the years, because we've all worked on the house together. So it's like, you know, it just doesn't feel right. And but so okay, so I've done that. That's like, that's where I stand with them. Now, this kind of other phase where we're kind of like closing out this last, I realize I only really have 3 weeks, because the 23rd is when I need to be leaving on the plane. And I'm like, fuck. I thought it was like the 26th or 27th. No, it's the 23rd. So yeah, it's gonna be like, I'm like, oh fuck, okay. I need to be like, I'm glad that the timetable that I've set has been set this way, because I really need all my stuff effectively out and gone. Realistically in the next like 2 weeks. So I have a full week to just like do last minute things. But anyway, so yeah, I want to like say that this is my stance. Now, I've complained and talked about the roommate situation a few times, or just how the roommates are treating me, or just in general, like my perspective. And it's tough because I know anything I say that is considered negative will immediately make people think, well, they're evil and they're bad. And that's not the case. They're actually really nice people. They have a lot of really awesome qualities, and I've enjoyed my time hanging out with them. And really, this whole move is because I've just outgrown the situation, not because they've changed in some fucked up way. And so this is where, as I start peeling back the layers and I start seeing a more kind of calculated side to them, because I'm not a part of the group anymore, it bothers me. And I don't know how much I should be bothered about it, because, like, obviously I'm leaving the situation. But now I'm kind of like, okay, well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to, like, leave my car there. Because I kind of just don't want them using the car. And that's kind of the only reason they want me to leave the car there, is because then they can use it. And the moment that that was off the table, suddenly everything's changing. And it's like, I understand that you like the fact that you can just use my car whenever, because I've been incredibly generous about that. But, you know, it's kind of, there's a difference between doing that and, I don't know, like, effectively giving them a $200 plus subsidy to use my car, or them paying for it and then them just kind of racking up a bunch of miles that, you know, I'm gonna have to worry about potentially, oh, well, what if it gets, like, what if they get into an accident while I'm gone? Like, you know, what's gonna happen with all of this? And then there was also the idea of like, well, can you just sell it to them? Because they've been asking about like, hey, can you sell the car? And I'm like, I don't want to sell the car because I don't know what my plan is going to look like in a couple months. So I don't know. It's, on the one hand, I don't know if I'm overthinking it, and yeah, it's just, it's kind of off for me. There's, I think I need to get like a storage unit maybe. More and more I'm thinking I need to get a storage unit and just put my car in the storage unit and then turn off the, or pause the, what's it called? I guess I'll go to the lake and then turn around. Pause the insurance and then start it back up again once I'm back. Hey, little bird, it's okay. But, oh, by the way, on a side note, I definitely overdid it yesterday because my knee is constantly kind of having small issues as I'm climbing. So something to keep in mind, that I need to, I need to make sure to rest, which, you know, again, that was what today was supposed to be. But I don't know, I just felt like I needed to come out here and talk. So that's why I'm doing it. But I don't know, it's like, with the perspective I have, it's really hard to, I don't know, like, I understand why they're doing what they're doing, because they're worried that they're not going to have everything they need. They've been very used to having my car for the past 3 years, basically free open access, and that's changing, and they don't want it to change. That's really like what it boils down to. And I get that. That's like, I totally get that. Also, it's not about like they're not trying to fuck me over. They're not trying to be mean. I think it's just when your mentality has shifted about someone. Oh man, it's really peaceful. There's some kids, but whatever. I'll just show you the lake and I'll turn around and walk back. But yeah, It's like I didn't connect the dots until yesterday when I started talking about this like shift. I don't know if it was yesterday. It might have been the day before yesterday. But like it was like recently I had talked about this feeling of being excluded from the group. And again, it wasn't necessarily about, oh, fuck you, you're not a part of the group. It was more like their thoughts about what kind of position I was going to be in their life changed in a really fundamental way. And because it changed, it totally made them reevaluate how they were going to treat me. Which is, here, this is actually a really beautiful kind of moment there. But yeah. Anyway. Okay. I'm heading back. But yeah, so what I'm kind of, I guess something I'm experiencing, I don't know if this isn't necessarily the first time I've experienced something like this, but it's the first time where I genuinely, I saw the roommates in a certain light, and that is true. The way I interacted with them and how we interacted, all of that was true and real, and there's nothing to take away from that. But what I didn't understand was this was under the context that I would be living with them more long term out into the distant future. Like, you know, we had talked about getting a house together, like all going in and on a house. We had talked about, you know, just like life goals and situations like that. And so I understand that when I started shifting, because it was like all the growth that I had been doing had been very internal over the span of that entire time. And outwardly, there wasn't too much change in the beginning because I didn't really fully understand what it meant to embody myself. And I'm getting better at that now. I'm not perfect, but you know, I am me, and that really hasn't changed. What's changed is me holding in my thoughts and opinions more because I'm afraid that certain people will freak out or be weird or be different or whatever. And I realized that was just constraining me, and it wasn't really helping anyone. It was just kind of limiting the pieces of me that interacted with people. And you could say, oh, well, doesn't that mean you were being disingenuous? No, it was just like the sheer magnitude of who I am is so much larger than an average person can fully comprehend that, you know, for the roommates, they were like good enough at seeing the surface layer and that was it. And as I kind of brought more of the deeper layers out, they're like, I don't want to interact with that really. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that just kind of signaled to me that at like where the threshold was on like what parts of me they would be willing to even accommodate. And as I kind of learned more and more about like who I am deeper, as a deeper and deeper analysis, it became very clear very quickly that I would not be happy if I stayed. Hello. I would not be very happy if I stayed in the current situation, because I need to be like fully myself. And if people only see a little piece of me, that's fine, but I'm just going to kind of drift past them. I kind of imagine that I don't know what movie it was, but there was a movie where there was this like panning back shot, not back shots. Okay, that was just really funny. This panning like shot of this giant creature, and you started with like seeing a little piece of it, and as you zoomed out, you're like, oh shit, that was its eye. And then it panned out really big. And so you only, as a person, got to see the eye in the beginning. But you didn't even know it was an eye until it opened. And then when it panned back, that panning revealed how massive the creature actually was. And this is kind of what I'm talking about, where it kind of overwhelms people. And I truly believe that most people would be overwhelmed by other people if they got the full scope of who they are. Because most people don't show them the full self. And it's not because they're like trying to actively hide. It's because they've kind of learned in society that we can't show our true self because maybe we'll be judged, maybe people won't like us, maybe I won't get that job, whatever it is, right? And this is where people get limited. So I'm not like saying I'm some unicorn where I'm the only one who's really big in like spiritual and emotional and whatever depth. Everyone has a huge depth to them. It's just a lot of people haven't really tapped into that. So yeah. But anyway, so getting back to this and getting back to the roommate thing. Really, the end result is kind of the scenario that's happening now, where I'm no longer willing to shrink to fit the box. So I just kind of actively have been walking out of the box, and the roommates are like, wait. Leave your stuff behind because we don't want things to change. And it's like, hey, don't worry. I'm not going to take away your stuff that you've been using. Like, I already said I was going to give it to you. And whether things change on, how you treat me, I'm still planning on doing that, because that's just like, that was my plan all along. It's a thank you. Now, with that being said, the way they've been interacting tells me a lot about how they're going to interact with me in the future. Where am I going to be incredibly good friends with them moving forward, or are they going to be relegated to the other friends that I've had really great memories with, I've been really close to, and then we've kind of fallen out of touch over time? And the answer to me is probably this latter part, because they're already actively changing the way they treat me. And so it just kind of, all it's doing is kind of cementing the idea that, yeah, they just, they don't get me as well as I kind of hoped that they did. And they're kind of, I don't know about digging their own grave, because I'm not making graves for them, but it's more like they are, they're telling me what slot they will be kind of allotted in terms of my time in the future. And so this is a very important time for them to kind of show me when I am not really of value in the same way I was previously. How are they going to treat me? And the answer is they are courteous, but it's almost like a customer service courteous. And occasionally there is spark of like, there's a little bit of what I remember us interacting as. Like the other day, I don't remember what we were talking about, but me and one of the roommates, she was saying some stuff, and we were having a really fun time just like interacting with like imaginary stuff. And I don't know, it was just like that's just stuff we used to do all the time. And so I was like, yeah, this is the way I remember us always kind of interacting. And so it was really nice. And you know, so it's not like they're actively trying to like shun me or anything. That's not what I'm kind of saying. But I think there's a subconscious shift that I don't think they even realize they've done. Because sometimes when you recategorize someone in your head as not being a part of your life in the long run, the priority that person has in your life totally undergoes a massive shift, and there's all sorts of things that you used to do that you no longer do, because subconsciously you're like, well, they're leaving soon, so it's kind of like we can't do plans anymore. Even though that's not actually the case, we can still do plans. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I just kind of, I guess there is some grief on my part about the times we've had as a group together kind of coming to an end. And yeah, it smells like gas. But yeah, it's this whole stuff, it's just, it is coming to an end, and I'm gonna miss it. Does that mean I'm gonna change my plans? No. But I am going to miss this. I'm going to miss this trail. And I think it's okay to both feel like grieving about things that will be lost while anticipating the adventures to come. And I think that's kind of where I'm at. And I don't know. It's sorry, it was kind of weird. Anyway. Hold on, I'm gonna blow it out. I'm so sorry. I get really like grossed out at the whole nose stuff. So, oh. Okay. Sorry. I also apologize if that was gross on your guys' end too. Oh, fuck. Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm bringing this up because I want to... Wait. What? Am I already... No. Okay. I was like, there's no way I crossed the road without even, like... Yeah, okay. I thought I had crossed the road for some reason for a moment there. I'm like, no, I didn't. What the fuck? Okay. So that's kind of like where I'm at with my roommates at the moment, is I'm questioning how much of this is just a grief thing, because it's like I understand why things are changing, and kind of getting back to this kind of frustration I'm having. It's, I don't think they're doing it intentionally, but it feels like they're sneaking around, not wanting me to hear their conversations about the roommate stuff. Come on, buddy. Sorry. There's a fly that was just... It'd love to catch a ride with me, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so... It's kind of, when... Yeah, just like... kind of like openly being like, I do not want you to hear this, so I'm going to conveniently go for a walk, and I'm gonna conveniently like go outside and huddle around the car to like talk about stuff, because I was like, I wasn't even trying to like peep or whatever, and I didn't hear anything, but like I heard this noise outside. I'm like, what the fuck's going on outside? Because it sounded pretty loud. And I peeked through the window, and I just see them all huddled around the car, talking into the phone, and talking to the third roommate who's not here right now. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why are you guys acting so fucking weird? Where you can't even talk inside. So I don't know. It's like, it feels like I have been very open and honest about my intentions the whole time. And it feels like for them, it feels like they're being super calculative on what can we get out of Tom. And that bothers me because that's not how they've been this whole time. And it's like, I guess I understand where it's coming from. There's one roommate in specific who I feel is kind of the main perpetrator in this, because he, again, has this issue about the, like, oh. I'm so sorry. I felt like a bug flew into my mouth. So, fuck. Sorry, guys. It's super gross. But now I gotta blow my nose. This is fucking great watching right now. Okay, sorry. But anyway, so yeah, it's just kind of I don't know. It bothers me in so much as I felt like they trusted me more than they do. And I don't know. Maybe there's some PTSD from the last roommate who moved. I'm not sure. And, you know, I don't want to over psychoanalyze them because it's not really fair to kind of bring up their problems like I was doing with the one with the abandonment stuff. It's like, that's what I've kind of noticed over time. And I don't know his background, but it's been very much hinted at for, you know, since I've known him, where the other two roommates have kind of hinted that there's some backstory there as to why he acts the way he does. And unfortunately, that kind of is the reason why they just kind of let him get away with a lot of stuff that really shouldn't be gotten away with. I'll just say that. And again, I love him, but, you know, he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to kind of overcome that and kind of step into the next stage of his life, where I do think he has a lot of potential for growth. But yeah, anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic. Yeah, I'm just trying to understand if I'm giving them a fair analysis, or if, because I'm so wrapped up in everything, it isn't really fair of me to get frustrated when they kind of treat me differently. Because it's like, inevitably, I know that most people, this is kind of their thing, is people do not treat people unconditional. There's always a condition of, well, you are the roommate, therefore I will treat you this way. And I knew that they had conditional thoughts and feelings and attachments and everything, which again is part of the reason why I'm like, okay, well, you know, I can't long term, I can't really be here and grow, because I will just grow more and more detached from their line of thinking. and it would eventually become very alien to them in a very not good way for them. And for me, it would be like I'd feel stifled because those around me weren't really growing at the same pace I am. Which, you know, that is the main issue, is I grow at a pace that most people do not grow at. That is like my superpower. And with that being said, it makes it really hard to keep friends, because if I don't if I stop growing, it's really easy for me to fit in with whatever group I'm currently like residing with, because that's kind of the level that they discovered me at, and we're good. Unfortunately, I just grow, like, growth is kind of my thing. Like, I don't know. It's like a core identity of mine. It's the constant striving to be better than yesterday in whatever way it can be. And so, like, you know, I'll say February to now is a small amount of time in the grand scheme of reality and life. But to me, I've grown so much in these past 5 to 6 months. And because of that, it's like, take this and multiply it by 10 years. Now, it's not a standard stable rate of growth. Sometimes they grow really fast, and sometimes I collect experiences and then do another fast moment. And so, like, I've expended most of the current stockpile of growth. So I need to go out and do more things and then come back into another period of, not isolation, because I don't think I'm ever going to be as isolated as I was back then. But I definitely am going to be, for lack of a better term, I'm going to be in these periods of accumulation and then growth. Accumulation, growth. And, you know, the number of times that I stop to do some, like, upgrades, it may be more numerous and slower because I've realized how to do it now, and I don't have a backlog of stuff that I have to work through. So the levels with which I'll be growing might not look as crazy as the jumps that I've been doing over the past, 5-6 months and before that, but it'll be more measured progress, but it'll almost be like faster in how I update because I don't have, again, all the backlog. So I can just focus on the current stuff. And that kind of rapid growth potential is what I excel at. And really, the thing that I need to be careful about is having the balance. So I don't go grow forever, and not have time to relax, take in surroundings, enjoy what I'm experiencing, so on and so forth. So, yeah. I also think that's why I know that doing all this documentation, especially in this slow part, or at least what I feel is to be a slow part, it may not necessarily feel super exciting, but I know that things are going to get real exciting within this next month. Things are picking up really fast. Hey, get out of there. Fucking trying to stab me and eat me. Little fucker. I'd be glad I didn't fucking crush you. Okay, fucking mosquitoes. Anyway, so yeah, I just think that the trajectory, really, I think it's going to be exciting to watch. As like someone who's going to be living it, I'm excited to experience it, and holy crap, I think it's going to be awesome to see me kind of go to these different places. And, you know, I'm going to run into scenarios where I'm going to have to really work through it. But, you know, I think it's all going to be really positive. So, kind of the mentality shift into one where I am growing, and my life moving forward is going to be filled with joy as opposed to suffering. Because I've kind of done, you know, the first 30 some odd years, that's been kind of the period that most of my suffering has kind of come from. And I know better now. I understand how things work in a different way. And so I won't experience that same level of suffering. And instead, I'm going to be experiencing a kind of magnitude of joy that I probably never experienced, like, ever. So that's why I'm so excited about this. So, anyway, I guess I've come up with my answer when it comes to the roommates. It really boils down to they're really looking out for themselves, and the level with which they have me as a priority has lowered. So because of that, it is different. Even though I don't think they consciously are doing anything different, I don't think their conscious understanding and awareness has caught up to their subconscious and how they've shifted where I fit in their life. So yeah, I guess I really should just let it go, because there's no point in being sad about this, because I know that it's really just the situation. It's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's really no one's fault here. It's just I'm kind of moving on. They're also moving on. And they're doing it in their way, and I'm doing it in my way. And I hope that they can be in my life in the future. I don't know. With the way things are going, I kind of feel like they're going to kind of fall into that category of someone who I chat with every couple months, you know, kind of do the updates, and that's it. And I don't know, that's sad because I kind of wish that it would be different. And it still can be, but I don't know. I just... I think I'll just have to see the environments that I'm in the future, what that even looks like. Because, you know, again, it's possible I'm not even going to be in the country and I'll be living somewhere else, right? So the travel around is both... Travel around the world is like a way of me kind of doing the initial stuff of like scouting out and understanding more of, you know, myself and, you know, what the world has to offer. And then I can kind of make decisions on where I want my home base to be. So, and that could be here. It could be in a different part of the country, and it also could be just in a different, I don't know. It could be anywhere. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna go. It is late, so I think this is just gonna be the whole video. So have a good night. Sorry. I'll see you all tomorrow. I will say I did do a lot today, so I'm pretty pleased with myself. I don't know if I'm going to do a walk tomorrow. We'll see. I definitely kind of want to give my knee a rest. But I don't know what that's going to look like. So, all right, adios. Good night. Bye.